Hi, everyone. If you see this, let me know it's working. Happy workshop day. One of my favorite days of the week. So we're trying something a little bit different with our workshop today. We understand that not everyone is on Facebook, so we've been hosting the workshops via Zoom. And right now, I'm actually doing both. So I'm on Zoom, but I am streaming it to the Facebook group. And I believe I'm in the right spot. So as soon as you tune in, type something in the chat. I don't see any comments yet. Um, but we're going to get started in just a minute. Happy Friday. Today's beginner workshop is going to run you through how to choose a location and get your files exported to run in the laser. But we are also going to be featuring one of the tools, specifically custom shapes. So we've got state shapes, we've got new holiday shapes for anyone who is getting ready for holidays in July, Christmas in July, or just early holiday prep in general. Hi, I see you guys tuning in. Thank you so much for joining. Go ahead and let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. Tell me what you're looking forward to today in our beginner workshop. We will be emphasizing custom shapes, but we're going to go over the whole thing from start to finish. And today I actually have a finished product to show you. Can you see this? Eee. So it took maybe 10 minutes total in the laser to run and maybe another 5 to 10 minutes to assemble it. And I made it a little ornament. I just added a little hole to the water layer and voila, this is Warren, Rhode Island. Circles are a little tricky because you're like, where's the top? When you're using shapes that have corners, it is super simple to align. And circles are too. You just have to know where the top is. But I'm excited. I have a finished product to show you guys. We're going to run through the software. I'll show you how I did all of this from start to finish. And while we're going through the workshop, all you have to do is type in your questions and I will do my best to address them during the workshop. But if I don't address it right away, you can always just stay tuned till my little Q&A session at the end. And we also have another fun challenge. So we have been having a lot of fun in the workshops, but extra fun with the challenges that have been involved. So as I feature different tools within Layered Map Maker, I have been challenging all of our guests, our workshop students, to complete a challenge based off of the tool that we featured. So today's challenge is going to be using Layered Map Maker's basic city template, basic city map template. It has your water, your land, your roads, and you're going to use one of the custom shapes and showcase what you made. And we are going to be awarding credits to anyone who completes the challenge. So it should cost about 3 map layer exports to complete this project. So if you complete the challenge, you will get some credits. But for the one person, I'm hoping all of you do this, but if we see a very unique piece created using the custom shape tool, we are actually going to be awarding that user 20 layer exports. So that's huge. I think that's amazing. All right, so I see we have about 16 guests here. All right. If you see this, say hello in the comments. I have not seen one comment come in yet. I'm going to check my phone just in case. But let me know what you think of us streaming this in the Facebook group. Do you love it? Is this easier for you? Do you want to go back to Zoom? I just love being here with you, so that's all that matters to me. Yay! All right. I see some comments. You guys are great. Someone stayed awake for this. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. So at least I know it's working. This is great. Hi, Joe. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Elias. Hey, Kim. Hi, Regina. Daryl, you are a champ. Hey, David. This is awesome. All right. Well, I'm glad you like it through Facebook. So what I did, I have a couple screens up. It's a little overwhelming, but I'm going to get used to this. So just bear with me. If something seems weird or you have a tip for me, just post it in the comments. That's what we're going to do. All right. So let's just go ahead and do this. I'm going to minimize the Facebook screen because I can't see it there, but I have my phone up. So if you see me looking this direction, I'm looking at your comments here. All right, so I think this is safe to go ahead and share my screen. And we are gonna get to making maps together. Who's excited? Thank you for joining me on a Friday. I hope you guys had an amazing week. I had a great week. I had an even more beautiful day. Life is tough, but when you have days like I did today, it's very calming and refreshing. So I hope the same for you guys. All right, so let's share. Thank you for your patience. Okay. Okay, share screen 1. So we should be in business now. I think I can move this guy over here. All right, so it says you guys can see my screen, but that's technology telling me that. So you let me know if you can see my screen. I am actually going to take a moment to just go right into the main site for Maker Studio. So for those of you who haven't heard yet, we have rebranded to Maker Studio. So we were Laser Map Maker, and we are now Maker Studio, where Layered Maps is the active app within Maker Studio. We do have other apps coming. So if you want to go to maker.studio, you can go down here to check out the 3 apps. So Layered Maps is what you guys have all come to know and love as Laser Map Maker. And if you want to just go into the app, you just click this Go to App button at the top. If you're not logged in, it will say Login. So if you're logged in, it will say Go to the app. But we do have some other apps coming, and if you want to get signed up for them, you can go ahead and click on these buttons here so that you guys can get notified when they launch. So if you have a CNC router or a 3D printer, you may really love the 3D Maps app that is coming out. And then we also have Tumbler Maker coming out. So this one is not specific to maps, it is specific to Tumbler designs. So if you want to get notified for that, you can just click on it here. But this is our new landing page for Maker Studio, and I love it. I love the colors. I love the movement. I love that we are building apps for our Maker community. It is just so exciting. And I am here to just teach you all the things that I possibly can. So this workshop is meant for you to ask questions, to learn, to have fun, to get inspired. And hopefully the challenge encourages you to create something as soon as we get off of this workshop here. Okay. I will say the Facebook comments are a little more challenging than the Zoom comments, but I am seeing them. So thank you and welcome back, James. You are on a roll, my friend. Okay, so this is the new Maker Studio site, but I don't want you guys to feel lost or confused. If you see Layered Map Maker, that is the app we're going to be working in. So you can just click on it and it will take you to your dashboard. I already have it open, so I'm going to close that duplicate tab. And we are offering all of our users, whether you have a free login or you're a subscriber, you get 3 free layer exports every 30 days. So please don't worry if you're not actually signed up, if you can participate in the challenge or not. You absolutely can because you get 3 free exports every 30 days. If you have a subscription, great. If you are new to being, if you want to sign up for a subscription, they all come with a 2-week free trial as well. So the way this system works, the way the software operates is you can sign up for free, create as many projects as you want, play around with the studio, use your 3 free exports, or if you have a subscription, every layer that you export is considered a credit. So I'm just going to show you guys how quick and easy it is to search a location, get your layers, and set them up for your laser. This is something you guys can do in minutes. And I can say that with complete certainty because I did it right before today's workshop. So, like I said, this took me less than 10 minutes to run in my laser, and it probably took less than that to set up in the studio. So it is not complex. It looks complex. Maps can sell for high dollars. So it is a very profitable piece that you can make and you can add to your collection. But it is very simple to do, and I am here to teach you and show you exactly how easy it is. So how's everyone feeling so far? We are Maker Studio. You have access to our layered map maker. You can subscribe. You can create projects and export layers for free if you want. But I'm just going to show you guys how to start a new project. Before I do that, I would actually like to show you guys where you can join our Facebook group and you can download a quick reference guide, which is basically what I'm going to go over in this workshop. So if you're not a part of our Facebook group already, it is called Layered Maps by Maker Studio. So I'm going to pull this guy in over here. So this is Layered Maps by Maker Studio. You can join us. It's free to join our group. Oh, hey, look, there's the live. So one thing I want to show you is in the Files tab, this is where you can find your basic city map template. So I'm going to show you guys how to use the basic city map template. And if you want to get this PDF, you can just click right here and it will download the PDF and it will look like this. So we are going to start a new map, simply refine our location, generate and download those map files, and then we're going to prep them for laser processing. Good so far? So you could download this, reference it at any time. I have updated it a few times, so as the software gets updated, I want to make sure you guys have updated resources as well. So this is the latest and greatest reference guide for you. All right, so I think we can minimize that now. And if you are in the Facebook group, another fun thing to check out is the media. What are people making? So here are some examples of the heart shape. We have the tiling tool. We actually featured that last week. So here are some examples from the challenge. People were creating coasters with the tiling feature. Have some users making clocks. Here's another example of an ornament. So a lot of fun things happening in our group, a lot of inspiration, and the community is just super duper helpful in general. I love being here. I love being a part of the conversation. So if you're not already in our Facebook group, please come join us. Feel free to share your projects. And if you do participate in the challenge, this is where you guys are going to be posting your photos. And then you're going to email us at support@maker.studio to confirm that you have posted your challenge entry. Okay, so I think we're good with the Facebook group. I showed you guys the quick reference guide, and now we can just create a new project. So for today's example, I am actually going to be, I should ask you guys. So based off of the graphic for today's event, there was a little state in the bottom right-hand corner. Does anyone remember what that state was? Can you recall what it is? I might have actually said it earlier. I might have already accidentally answered this. I am checking your messages. Um, Cliff, I don't want to exactly say yes to that question, but it will feel very familiar. Awesome. I'm glad he did. So that way you get to play around with it. You must have, do you have a CNC router and a 3D printer as well? Are you going to be playing and sharing all of the things, Cliff? Yes, thank you, Joe. We are doing Warren, Rhode Island. So all you have to do in the search bar is just start typing out your location. It could be a specific address, it could be a city and state, it could be a location of a restaurant if you wanted it to be, but the search feature is going to populate some results and then you just select which one that you want to go with. So when you choose your location, it automatically defaults your project name to the location you selected. You can change this now. You can change it later in the dashboard, and that's something I will show you. Please remind me to go back into the dashboard and show you the things. So I'm going to call this the Shapes Workshop or Walkshop. All right, so we've got our location, we've got our project name. We're going to go with the basic city map template. It gives us our water, our land, and our roads, and we're going to create our project. Here's our studio. So, is there anyone here in today's workshop who is brand spanking new to using Layered Map Maker? Anybody? Anybody want to share that? Maybe you have already used Layered Map Maker and you're just looking for a refresher, or you're just interested in seeing what we're going to share related to custom maps. But the main thing I like to show everyone when they're getting started with the Map Maker software is to use the basic city map template, because on the left, you'll see your layers are already preloaded for you. So in the three dots, you have the option to hide things, the option to change settings, the option to move things around and relayer them. But the beauty of using the template is you don't have to touch any of that. You can just let it be, and then all you have to do is reposition your map. So this is Warren, Rhode Island. It's kind of like this chunk right here. And my Uncle John has a spot right over here, and I wanted to make him a little gift. So this is going to be for my Uncle John, and I was like, maybe I can make it the shape of a buoy. Maybe I can make it the shape of a compass. Maybe I can make it a semicircle where the map is at the bottom and there's a family photo at the top. So you have access to a bunch of tools, but even once you first generate your map layers, how you customize it, you have infinite possibilities. It could be a custom frame or text or unique materials that you use, but the software part of it, getting your files to make this project, this is going to be fun and fast. So here's what your default screen will look like. We have our layers on the left, we have our main studio here in the center, and then we have all of our tools on the right. So you'll see a couple colors on your screen right now. We use white for water, we use gray for land, and we're using black for the different types of roads. Some of these roads are a little bit thinner. I'm going to just call those our minor roads. And some of our roads are a little bit thicker. I'm going to call those the major roads. So on the right-hand side where all of your tools are, I'm going to run through all of them, but we are going to focus on the map shapes option here. So first, let's say I have found the perfect center for my project, and I don't really want to move it around anymore. If you want to lock it so you don't accidentally move it, right now I'm clicking it and I'm trying to move it and it won't budge anywhere, you can lock your screen. The second thing you can do, one of the most common questions we get is, what if we want to delete a road? Or what if we want to thicken a road? How do we know what is what? There's a feature here called the toggle inspect mode, and when you click it, you can start to hover over different pieces and it will highlight them a specific color. And a couple things are going to happen when you use toggle inspect mode. So just by hovering over it, you can see it made it purple. And at the bottom center of my screen, it shows that these are my primary roads. Another thing that I can do is I can actually expand the features that are within my roads layer. And if I were to click on this, did you see how it selected it for me? So this is how you can identify certain roads. You can hide them. If you like the way they look hidden, maybe you want to delete them. If you want to thicken a particular road up when it's selected, you can choose your style here. So the toggle inspect mode is kind of how you get into the nitty-gritty and you can change some of those features. So that's a super helpful tool for you. I did mention that there are three colors. We have the white, the gray, and the black, but we also have a slight hint of a satellite overlay. So if you need a little bit of help refining your location, you can actually turn the satellite layer all the way up to help you kind of figure out what you're looking for. And then when you're done, if you just want to get a preview of what your laser files, your vector files look like, you can turn the satellite layer all the way down. If you decide, okay, maybe I started this project at Warren, Rhode Island, but maybe I want Smithfield, Rhode Island. I want to go to a different area. I could just type right in this search bar using this magnifying glass, just like I did at the beginning when I set up a new project. Okay. If you want to change your zoom level, so I'm just using the little wheel on my mouse to zoom in and zoom out, but there's also this zoom feature here. And one thing I do want to share with you, because there's another tool here called the map scale, is if I were to continue zooming out of this area, notice how all of those thinner black lines kind of disappeared, but when I zoom back in, they reappear. So if I want to zoom out further than this, but I want to retain those minor roads, those thinner roads, instead of continuing to zoom out, there's another tool called map scale. So this is super helpful if you're trying to capture a larger area, a larger lake. So there is a limitation. You can go up to 200%, and it is loading a lot of data, but you can go up as high as 200%, and you'll notice all of those thinner roads are still there. So I don't need to capture that large of an area, but if you try zooming out and you're like, hey, where did my features go? The map scale tool is there to help you with that. All right, so let's bump it back down to 100. Looks like I crashed it with my data. All right, so we're just gonna give this a quick refresher and ta-da. All right, so we had our lock, our toggle inspect, satellite overlay, search, zoom, map scale. If you wanted to rotate, you can also rotate your area here. I tend to like to stick with my true north facing upwards, but if you wanted to rotate it for when we get into our custom shapes, that is something you can do there. And for sizing, so I'm going to shrink my layers panel. For sizing, we use aspect ratios. Notice there are no units of measurement in here. So if you want your map to fit a particular frame, a pretty common one is either 8 by 10 or 11 by 14. You can actually just type those numbers right in here so that when you bring this into your design software, I'm using Lightburn, but whatever software you guys are using, even if you scale it up or down, your aspect ratio will remain the same. You just need to scale it to whatever dimensions you'd like in your software. Okay, so fun stuff, map shapes. As you can see here, we're using the circle shape, but there are many shapes you guys can choose from. And we're just going to click through a few so you can see how quick and easy it is to run through these shapes. I've seen some of these shapes used with the topography feature. So if you guys want to capture layers of altitude for mountains and things like that, you can always incorporate the shapes with those as well. It's not limited to just the basic city map. It's used for all the maps that you're generating in Layered Map Maker. So my idea when I was thinking of making like a buoy shape as a gift, I actually wanted the map to be on the bottom half of the circle. So the way that I did that was I just rotated my map. So it looked upside down, but I knew my end result was going to be a map at the bottom half of my circle, and then we'd put a family photo at the top. But that's one way that the rotate tool might be super useful to you. So those are our geometric shapes. And then we've also added in some holiday shapes. So bells, lights, gingerbread men, mittens. Um, if you haven't heard of an event coming up yet called Laser Maker Con, you are going to want to check out the video that Elias put together. It is incredible how many of these maps he was able to quickly produce using a variety of the holiday shapes. It will blow your mind. I think this is an incredible tool to add variety to your maps in a very fun and fast way. We also currently have 50 US states available. So let's say this one may not be the best example just because there are multiple parts. Rhode Island is very tiny. But if I wanted to put this map in the shape of Rhode Island, I could do so using this feature here. And I would probably layer it on something larger, just so I can incorporate all the bits and pieces here. But for my physical example that I showed you, I went with something like, let me look at my reference photo. So it looks like it's right about there. Looks good to me. Let me pull this up. Okay. So how are we doing? I just ran through some of the shapes with you guys. Let me check the chat here. This is I'm sorry if this is awkward. You guys are super helpful. Thank you. If you delete features that are not needed, does that expedite the export or no? The export will take time so it's important that each of your layers only have one color on it because of the way we vectorize these files. I kind of joke about the word vectorize. I still haven't looked it up. I don't know if that's a legitimate word, but we use a color tracing technology to vectorize your files. So it is going to take a couple seconds to process that. If you were to delete certain features, will it speed it up? It does have a little bit less to process, but I think the process in general is so quick as it is. It takes a few seconds to, you'll see when I click on preview export, but it'll take a few seconds here to prepare your map layers so we can get into the export preview screen. And then when you actually go to get your vector files, it's going to need to process again. So we're probably at 5 seconds. Our layers have been prepared, and now we're in our export preview screen, and we can see how these layers are going to start to come together. So hopefully that answers your question. It's just a few seconds. So if you want to time it and let me know, I would love to see how many milliseconds you shaved off of there. Okay, I've used layer map files, but they were purchased separately. I like that this, you can do them custom. I'm not sure what you mean by purchase separately, but I love that you love that this is very quick and customizable. So if you have another question related to that, just ask. I'll see what I can help you with. So for an ornament, would you use a 4:4 aspect ratio? My ornament is 4 inches by 4 inches. But when you're using the shapes, I'm going to go back into the studio. Let's get back to my square rectangle. So are you asking if I choose a custom shape and then I change the aspect ratio, what will happen? Because 4:4 is kind of the same as 1:1. It just means both sides are equal. So this could be a 2 foot by 2 foot circle, still a 1:1 ratio. I hope that helps, Regina. Okay, next question. Philippines map shape in the future. I would love to see all of the countries and territories and all of that added. Beyond that, I would love to see how we can incorporate your own custom shapes into the map feature. Yes, I'm glad you think it looks really useful. Oh, and what I just said probably just answered Cliff's question. So the goal for that is yes, we would love to be able to offer shapes based off of your imports. What if you use a map shape and then decide you want to remove it? How do you change it? Right here in the map shapes. So I was in a circle and then I went back to a square, rectangle. You can change your aspect ratio. The one thing that is affected by map shapes. So the last workshop, I showed you guys how we tile things, but if it's not a square or a rectangular shape, the tiling feature will be disabled. So the tiling feature is for square or rectangular objects. Okay. Yeah, topographic maps do take a little bit longer, but they're very satisfying once they're built. You're welcome. Do you have tips for those burning these as far as dialing in the speeds and power? I've had challenges when cutting maps because there's a lot of tight turns that char things like small islands. I had a very similar encounter today. I'm working with 1/8 inch Baltic birch. I wouldn't say that it was charred. I wonder if you guys can see this. Oh, here's my little thumbnail. Okay, so I also had a lot of like little nooks and crannies, and you can see this part is really tiny right there. So there was a little bit of char, but I just took a little baby wipe and wiped it right off. I had some double-sided tape on the back so you can actually see a little more evidence of that charring right there, but it just wipes right off. So if you have tinier bits and pieces, my suggestion is just lower your power. If it's not cutting all the way through, then also slow down your speed. But everyone's lasers and settings are going to be a little bit different. Even if we had identical machines and the same wattage, your settings might be a little bit different than mine. So if you can share a specific example or tell me maybe what software, what laser you're using, what material you're using, maybe I can help with the settings, but I will say my expertise is in Lightburn. So Lightburn is where I'm going to be able to help you. I do use a 30-watt RF tube Mira 5 as well as a 150-watt Nova 14. So I have yet to run a big map on the big laser, but trust me, that is a huge goal of mine. So yeah, I can't say, well, if you're making maps with tiny streets, use this power, use this speed. That would just be crazy for me to tell you that would work. Run a test grid on the material first can help. If you have very small areas, it's going to char. Sometimes masking helps. Yes, that is a great answer. Um, Maybe mask your materials. That will help out with your char. And you should always be testing the materials that you're working with. That's going to help you get the cleanest and crispest results, most crisp results. All right, so how's everyone feeling about getting a location set up, utilizing the custom shapes feature, working with aspect ratios to dictate your size? Because we are going to get our project now. Thank you, makes sense. I will try slower. I'm using Lightburn and a 10-watt diode laser with 1/8 inch basswood. I'll try masking for sure. Yay. Is basswood correct? Do you say basswood? Okay, so here we have the circle feature. Just like I told you, the beauty of using the basic city map template was you didn't have to set up or fiddle with any of the layers. It's the same thing with your vector strategies and getting your files ready to download. All of these tabs on the left. So you'll notice we have a section for your roads being cut, a section for the engraved details on your land, which in this case was our minor roads. And then we have our land water being cut out. So these are already pre-selected for you. Yes, we want to vectorize them. If it's a cut, we want an outline. If it's an engrave, we want to fill. And because we want our final file to be scalable, we want an SVG, which is a scalable vector graphic. So just like the layers are all set up for you, so are all of these options here on the left. You don't have to touch them at all. Tiling, you'll notice here it says attention, tiling is not available for non-square or non-rectangular maps. So just be aware that if you do want to tile your map, the custom shapes is probably not the way you want to go. But yeah, so we got layers tab, the tiling tab, we have our export summaries tab. So this is going to tell you that it's 3 map layer exports. So I can go ahead and click on export, but once I do this, once I confirm and click export on this pop-up window, 3 of my layer exports are going to come out of my bank, out of my account. So just be aware, double check all of your thumbnails. I know when you're new, sometimes you don't know what to look for, but I will say in general, you only want to see one color for each of these layers on the screen. So this is our land, we have gray. These are our minor roads, we have black, and these are our major roads, we also have black. We can look at them single, we can look at them combined, but I love the way this looks. I approve. I am ready to export. I'm going to confirm and click. Sometimes when I'm doing the workshop, I'm so excited. Sometimes when I'm doing live videos, this might be because I'm doing it on Facebook now, but I have to stop sharing. But I didn't have to stop sharing this time. I can share the whole time with you guys here. So that's a nice perk. Masking, air compressor, and lifting the material off the bed helps with char. That's great. Great tips, Regina. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, so paper masking, there's like a medium tack, a high tack. Um, Lifting material off the bed. Sometimes we use magnets, or sometimes I just take scrap materials and I put scrap materials around the edges. And the other one, air compressor. So if you have upgraded your air assist, maybe you have an air compressor that's connected to your laser, dialing up or down your air will be beneficial for the materials you're working with and reducing char. Ah, yes, the community is amazing. I'm glad you're having a good time and you're finding value in our workshop, Joe. Thank you. So here we are. We've exported our files. We get a little preview here of what we exported. So when I'm not hovering over it, I see the satellite view. When I'm hovering over it, I see the vector view. And then just below it, you're going to see exactly what your vector files are going to look like. I tend to click on download zip, select output, and then that will put a zipped folder on my computer. And then I click extract all, and I have all of my files. If you want to download them individually, you can. If you use Xtool Studio, you can actually work within Xtool, go to the apps, open up Layered Map Maker. It might still be called Laser Map Maker. I'll have to double check that. Maybe someone can fact check me. But if you are working within the Xtool Creative Studio, you're actually going to see a button here that says Open in Xtool. And instead of downloading things and then opening them up in Lightburn, it's going to go right into your Xtool Creative Studio, and you can set it up for the laser right there. So that is another fun perk. But yes, you definitely want to download output. And if you remember from the PDF here, so when we're in generate and download map files, we went to preview export. We clicked next on our layers tab, next on tiling, next on export. We got a pop-up window. We confirmed we wanted to export. And now that the processing has completed, we want to click download zip and select output. Once we do that, we're in our last step. We are ready to set this up for the laser. So I have already downloaded the output and I have already brought them into Lightburn. I don't want to skip this step. I want to show you what this looks like. So instead of me just doing my magic and opening up Lightburn, I'll show you what happens here. So I clicked on output. You can see my zipped file here. And this gives me the option to extract all. So I'm just going to extract it into my downloads. But I will say, as you start to accumulate a lot of files, you definitely want to get organized with this. I'm just going to put this project into my downloads. And here we are. So this ends in ZP7V. It was created at 627. So I'm going to minimize this. You're going to see my projects, but I'm just going to scooch that over. We're going to pretend I didn't prep this for you. Okay, so now I have downloaded my files. I have extracted them. And if it is a non-Lightburn file, you want to make sure you click import. I want to go to my downloads. And here's my set of files. So you'll notice at the beginning of each file name, this is what your layers were named. If you want to rename your layers for something that's more helpful for you, go for it. I am going to open these one at a time. So here are my major roads. I'm going to make sure they're grouped and just put them off to the side. Then I'll bring in the second one. So this is going to be my land engraved details. I'm going to make sure this is grouped and put this off to the side. And then I'm going to bring in my third one. So this is going to be our land and water cut lines. I'm going to make sure that's grouped. Okay, so for those of you who might have been around for a while, do you notice something different about how these files come in? I can share two ways with you. So one, anything that we had set to an outline is going to come in as a red line. Typically red is used for cut. So we're going to say red is a line, and anywhere you see red, this is where your laser is going to cut. Anywhere you see black, this is represented as a fill. So here you can see red equals a line, black equals a fill. Please do not look at the speed and power. This is not set up. I would change it to millimeters for one. And if I'm using my Mira 5, I'm probably going to cut this closer to 10 and 85. So that is my cut. And then for the engrave, I usually engrave this on the Mira 5 around 300 speed and 30 power. And I usually do 300 lines per inch. That might be overkill, but it took me 7 minutes to cut and engrave these two together. So the things that changed a little bit, which I love, it keeps things very streamlined, is anything that's being cut is red, anything that's being engraved is black, and we have also added an orange alignment line. If you were working with a square map, you might think that orange alignment line is unnecessary. But that's not true. It is very, very necessary, especially when you're stacking engraved details on top of land being cut. So I'm wondering if I should have waited to assemble this. But anyway, the land layer represents two pieces of data. If you look at my screen, we have, okay, now I'm going to go to the area where I've already prepped this for you. So we have our roads being cut. This sits at the very top. This is my gray layer. If you can see this, the gray major roads. That's going to sit on top. It represents one export. This is going to be my third material choice. Here, even though these are two different exports, notice they both say material to middle layer. That's simply because I'm going to stack these on top of each other and I'm going to tell my laser if it's red, cut it, if it's black, engrave it. And then there was no water feature here, water layer here. So my land layer did have the pockets of water cut out, but in order to get my water, I simply just need a solid shape. So there's two ways you can get a solid shape. You can do what I did. You can ungroup this section, just select this outer line, duplicate it, and voila, you have your water layer. Or if you wanted to generate this within the studio, it is going to cost a layer export, but I'm going to go back into my project screen. I'm pretty sure I've already done this. Okay, so do you see how there's an extra layer in my layers panel right now? It just says water layer, no data. All I did was click add layer. I named it whatever I wanted, which in this case was just water layer, no data, and I hit create layer. Since I already did that, I'm not going to do it again, but this water layer with no data is going to give me my circle with the border. So if you are ever wondering, how do I get the water layer? How do I just get everything right in the studio? You can just add a layer. Don't put any data, don't put any features in there. And then when you go to export it, you will see that you have the circle shape there for you. So I tend to just take one of the shapes that I've already generated in Lightburn. I just copy and paste it and make it my water layer. But if you really wanted to create that circle right in the studio, just make a layer with no data and it will look like this. It will have a border. So in this case, I would have an outer red line and an inner red line. I would just delete the inner red line so I have a solid circle. But again, I just took it from here. So before I move on to my next set of things, how are we feeling about what we're looking at here? So I simply brought in my 3-layer exports. Here's my major roads. Here's my engraved roads. Here is my land water cut. And then I just copy and pasted this outer circle so I have this foundational circle. Good so far? I guess so. You guys, thanks for the thumbs up. You guys are doing a great job. Okay, so step one, we brought in our layers one at a time and we made sure they were all grouped. Why do they need to be grouped? Because we're going to end up taking our engraved data here and we are going to stack it right on top of our land. It's just going to snap in right there. So now this is how I got where's my camera? So this is how I got the land to cut, but also got the minor roads engraved into it. So when I stack my land water cut with my engraved details, it is all happening on the same material. I just have to know to stack it. So let's move on to the next scene. Okay, so step two, you're going to stack your land engrave on top of your land water cut, and this is what it will look like. And now that we're done with our orange alignment line, we want to remove it. So once you have stacked your land engraved details on top of your land water cut, you don't need those alignment tools anymore. You just want to be extra certain that your material, your layers, your data is all grouped. So if you start moving things around or you start scaling things, they all stay consistent throughout the process. And then last but not least, remember we were working with aspect ratios. So this is 1 to 1. It is a perfect circle. But when I brought it in, one of these circles is almost 17 inches large. So I just scaled all of them down to 4 inches each. So I guess I should put step 4 here, but scale to your desired size. And then these were the final files that I actually worked with. So I was going to stack all of these on top of each other, and I'm like, hey, why don't I add a little ornament hole? So just using some basic shape building, I created one bigger circle. That's not really a circle. We're just going to undo it. So I created some circles, made an ornament shape, and now this represents my blue layer at the bottom, which is how I got this little tab for my ornament string. And then this middle layer here with all the engraved details is represented with my Baltic birch. And then all of my major roads here is what you can see in this gray color here. Now, I don't know about you. I feel like I'm kind of, what do you think about the thickness of these gray roads on top? I feel like I'm kind of becoming the queen of lines that are too thin, but I I kind of like it. It looks very intricate. Nothing broke. It has a very complex, dainty yet kind of masculine look going on. So what do you think? Do you like it? So that is our beginner workshop from start to finish. We chose a location, we refined it, we went to our preview export screen to get our files. We brought them into Lightburn, got things aligned as needed, scaled as needed, and then I ran these in my laser. So I am going to stop sharing if I can. Stop share. Okay. And I just want to make sure you guys are feeling good and you're ready to take part in this challenge we have for you. Who's doing it? Who's ready? I did it right before this live. There's no reason why you can't do it right after this live. If you've got some materials laying around, doesn't have to be super big. This actually, you could make 4 different locations and you could turn them into coasters. So last week for the workshop, when we were talking about tiling and how you could easily tile one map into 4 coasters so that when you put the 4 coasters together, it's one solid map. But there's no reason why you couldn't create like little mini destinations and then have those destinations as their own coasters. That would be kind of fun too. All right, so I don't see any new questions coming into the chat. I'm gonna assume everyone is ready to go rock this challenge. So keep in mind that you just need to use the basic city map template, utilize a custom shape, share it in our Facebook group. Just share a photo of it. Maybe thanks for the workshop. Loved learning about custom shape, something like that. So we know the post is related to you attending the workshop and learning about custom shapes. And then email the team at support@maker.studio. And then as soon as we see that, we will credit your account back the 3-layer exports. Now, we did say that the person who had the most unique application, the most unique project using the custom shapes tool was actually going to get 20 layer exports. So I am going to put a time on this. Usually I'll say 24 hours or 48 hours. So in this case, I am actually going to give you until Wednesday the 17th. So you have 5 whole days to complete this challenge. I normally only give you a day or two. So I feel like there are no excuses. You've got 3 free layer exports waiting for you in your account. You've got this video to reference at any time because it will be in the Facebook group. You've got the basic city map template quick reference guide, 5 days, access to the team. And did you know you can book a one-on-one demo with me? If you go into the site and you are logged into the Layered Mapmaker app, there's going to be a button that says book a demo, or maybe it just says demo. I'm not sure. You can also click on the About button and you will see our team and you'll see the demo links there as well. So if you need some extra help, you can always book a demo. And it's a 15-minute demo, but they're very powerful. I think we get a lot accomplished within those 15 minutes. Sometimes it's a quick run through. Sometimes users want help with a specific question. But the demos are available to you. The team is available to you. You have a ton of resources. And I'm imagining you're here because you want to learn how to actually make these things, right? So I'm giving you all the reasons in the world to take part in this challenge. I would love to see what you guys end up making. You are very welcome, Cliff. Thank you so much for joining. All right. So with that, I think we are all done for today's workshop. It's always hard to say goodbye, but our goal is to do these beginner workshops once a week. So I'll see you around in the Facebook group. Maybe I'll see you in the demo. And if anything, maybe I'll just see you at the next workshop, right? All right. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. It's been so much fun. I will see you soon. Bye.